Hello everyone, welcome back to the Python programming course. We are in the part 6 of this series, and in this video I'm going to explain about lists in Python. This is one of the most important topics in Python, and yeah, let's get started. So before actually understanding what are lists, I want to explain why we need lists in Python. So that is the most important thing to know. So let us first understand why we need lists in Python. So suppose let us imagine a scenario. We are developing a college platform, and in that college platform we are going to create a website which shows the marks of the students of the class. So suppose there are 50 students in the class. Now my website need to produce 50 marks of the students in the website. So in order to show the 50 marks of the students, I need to store them. So until now, whatever we have learned, we know one thing, that we can create variables and store values in it, so that we can create 50 variables now to store 50 marks of the students, and then print the results, or then print the variables, and we can produce the marks of the variables in the website, right? So far we have this knowledge how we can create marks 1, and this is marks of student 1 where where he got 70 marks, and this is marks 2, that is marks of student 2, and he got 80, and marks of student 3, he got 90. So in this way we are going to create some 50 variables. In this way we are going to create some 50 variables, and then we are going to print them to show the results. Do you think this is an efficient process? No. Creating 50 variables is accumulating a lot of memory. So in order to prevent this, there is a very good idea, that is list. So what are list actually? List is nothing but an ordered collection of items. Like it is a data container which can store multiple elements. So what are list? List is nothing but a data container which can store multiple elements. Like for example, here you can see in this box there are three different fruits. But so far what you have learned that in a variable, suppose there is a variable called name, you have stored only one data element. You cannot store multiple strings in this one variable. You cannot store multiple integers in this one variable. But if at all you are using a data container, as here you can see in this data container there are three different fruits. So the data container in Python itself is called as a list. So where multiple items can be stored. Instead of only storing one variable, we can store instead of storing only one data element, we can store multiple data elements. That is why we are going to use list in Python, which is one of the most important things to learn in Python. So I hope you got why we need list in Python, because in order to avoid this kind of situation, we are going to use list to store the multiple data elements. So how to create a list then? So same thing, you have to follow the naming rules of how to create a variable, just like that. And suppose now in my situation, I need to create a list which can store marks of 50 students, right? So I'm creating a list named marks, and a list is represented by square brackets. Okay, so these are called square brackets, and in between these square brackets we are going to write comma separated values. Now the first student marks is 70, the second student marks is 80, the third student marks is 90. In this way we are going to store about 50 students marks in this list, right? So I hope you got it, how to create a list. We need to create a variable, that is a list variable of type list, and this we have to follow the same naming rules as I mentioned in the previous video. And you have to write the list elements in a square bracket. So inside a square bracket we are going to have comma separated values which are part of the list itself. Now okay, we have created a marks variable. Suppose let's assume we cannot write 50 values now, so we have 5 students, and now I created like this. So now I have 5 students marks in this list. Can I so lists are generally like strings itself, but they are mutable. So what is this mutable, and why strings are called immutable, and why lists are called mutable, I will explain it now. So just like strings, as we know, in a string, suppose this is string name is equals to Ranga. In this string, we can access each character element using the indexes. As I have explained in the previous video, we can access the string using indexes. Just like that, we can access the elements of the list using indexing. Like the first element is referred with 0 index. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So each element has its own index position, and the index position starts from 0. So if at all I want to access the first element of the list, how do I access it? I will print marks of 0. So in this square brackets I am going to write the index position. With this we can access the first element of the list. Here you can see it prints out 70. How? Because this is the first element present in the list. If I write marks of 2, then it is going to print, this is 90. How? This is 0 index, this is first index, and this is second index. So it prints this 90 elements. So I hope you got it what is indexing. And just like strings, lists also have negative indexing. So this last element has index -1, this last second element has -2, and so on. So in this way lists also have negative indexing. Here you can see marks of -1. What it's gonna print? It's gonna print 75. And what is marks of 4? It is also printing 75. So this one element has both positive indexing as well as negative indexing. Using any of the indexing you can access the element that is positive or negative. So this is about indexing and how to create list and why do we need a list. So for definition you can use this: lists are ordered mutable collection of items enclosed in square brackets. List is an ordered collection of items. And why it is called as mutable, let's understand that. What is mutable? First understand this. Mutable means we can change something which can be changed. What is immutable? It cannot be changed. Suppose in the previous video I explained about strings. So what happened in strings? I have created a string called name is equals to Ranga, right? Now if at all I try to change this first character in the string as, let's say, E, is this possible? No, it gives out error. Why? Because strings are immutable. Because strings are immutable. That means that we cannot change a string. So we cannot change a string. That's why strings are said as immutable. Then why lists are called mutable? Let us see this. Suppose we are working in a social media company, and suppose in this social media company we have 50, suppose 5 usernames for now. So usernames is equals to, let's say, Ranga, Anish, and we have Rahul, and we have Rohan. So for now let's take 4 and see. Now you have this usernames list, right? So suppose if Ranga has changed his username a bit later to Ranga01. So what happens? So now you can change usernames of 0 to Ranga 01. Will this work? Yes, it is. It is working. So you can see that now if I print this usernames list, here you can see the value has changed. So that is why lists are called as mutable. I hope you got the difference between mutable and immutable. Mutable means it can be changed. So I hope there is not much difficulty in this. So mutable means we can change the values which are present in the list, and in a string we cannot change. So that is why they are called as immutable. So I hope you got the difference between immutable and mutable. So there is not much difficulty, I hope, in this. And yeah, let's move forward. So I took this example to explain the mutability of lists. And now the most important topic in lists is the properties and methods which we are going to perform on lists. So lists have many methods. We have to remember this. I mean, there is no need to remember everything because we have Python documentation section. We can go there, we can search for methods, and then we can have a clear description about them, and then we can learn them. As a programmer, we need to have we need not to remember everything. We can go search for things, and then we can find out, and then we can do. It's not like a movie that we remember everything and we type fast. It's not like a movie. We need to search things, and we need to learn things, and we need to be ready to learn everything. So yeah, so now let's try to talk about list methods. So as here you can see, I have explained this all, and there is one more thing that is remaining is list slicing. I will explain this as well, and then I'll go to list methods. Okay, so list slicing. So just like strings we have seen before, we have sliced the strings to get some part of the string. In the same way, we can so in the same way we can get the in the same way we can get the part of a list. Suppose here you see, if I print age of 0 to 2, what it's going to do? It's going to print 18 and 76. Why? This is the 0 index that gets printed, and then it will print the first index, and it will also print the first index, and then it comes to 2, and then it stops because the ending position is 2. Only up to the preceding value gets printed. I hope you got this. If you don't understand this, please watch the previous video where I explained slicing very clearly. So with that video you can clearly understand this. So if you get strings, you will definitely understand some properties of list as well. So I hope you got this. I hope you understood what is slicing. And yeah, now let us talk about, here you can see how we can slice. So you can pause the video and you can see this slide picture where you can understand the slicing. And now let's go to list methods. So let's understand list methods. First we will understand so what are methods? Methods are nothing but functions which are of a particular data type. In the previous video we learned about strings. Now strings have their own kind of methods which are only applicable to strings. I explained in the previous video, so that there are only methods which are applicable to string. Those are string methods. Now there are some methods which are only applicable to list. Those are list methods. So these methods does some action. They modify the list or they create a new list. So we are going to see that. Now here you can see I am going to divide this section as adding elements to a list. So now here you can see I'll create a list which are numbers, and in this numbers list I'm saying 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the numbers list, and in this numbers list now I want to add 7 at the end of the list. So how I am going to do that? I have a method called dot append. So what this dot append method does, this dot append method, it will take a value inside this parenthesis, and whatever the value which we give inside this parenthesis gets added to the end of the list, that is after 6. So whatever the last element is there, after that one element gets added. That element is the element which we passed in this parenthesis. Now suppose if I want to add 7 to this list, so what I am going to do now, so I want to add to the numbers list, so I am writing numbers dot append. So as I said, methods can be used with this dot. So numbers dot append 7. So what it will happen, here you can see no output. Why? Because we did not print the list. Numbers dot append will only modify this list, but it will not return anything and it will not print anything. So in order to actually see the change in the list, we have to actually print the list. If you now print this numbers list, here you can see 7 is added to the list. In this way, these methods can be used to add new elements into this list. So what append does? Append adds the number to the end of the list. And there is one more thing called insert method. So what is this insert method? Insert method will add the element at a particular index. Suppose if I say I want 0 number at the first position. That means 0th index. First position in a list means it is at 0th index, right? So at index 0, I want a 0 element. Then what will happen? Let's print the numbers list. Let's see. Here we can see 0 has been added to the 0th index. If at all I want to add at 6th index, 7th position, what happens? Here you can see 7 has been added to the list, that is the numbers list at the last position. So in this way, with the help of the index, you can insert a value. So how to write this? Insert, and you have to give the index value and then the value you are going to insert. So in this way you are going to use the insert method, and there are other methods like count. And so yeah, let's coming to the adding of the list. Adding elements, you have one more thing, that is extend. So what this extend is used for? Extend takes a list, a data container itself. A data container, extend takes a value called data container, and we need to pass data container to this extend, so that whatever the collection of data are there, that will be added to this list. Suppose if I want to add 7, 8, 9, three elements to this list, then what I am going to do? I am going to pass a list, that is 7, 8, 9, and if I see now, if I print, here you can see 7, 8, 9 has been added to this list, numbers list. So in this way we need to give an iterable, that is something which can be iterated, like 7, 8, 9 is a list, so you can give some data containers to this extend method, and that can be added into this list. So I hope you got how to use extend as well. So for adding elements to a list, we have append, we have dot insert, and we have dot extend. So I hope you got the use of these three methods. Now let us understand how to remove the elements from a list. So hashtag remove the elements from the list. So how to remove the elements from the list? So in order to remove the elements from the list, we have some methods. Suppose if I have this the same array, same list, numbers is equals to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now in order to remove the elements, what I am going to do, I have a method called dot pop. So this method will actually, if at all you don't give any value in this pop, then the last element present in the list gets removed. Suppose if I do numbers dot pop, what happens? You can see nothing gets printed because we did not print anything. Numbers dot pop will remove the last element, but it is not printing anything. So in order to print the change, we need to print the numbers list again. So here you can see 6 has been removed. But what if I do this thing inside here? So this dot pop method will actually remove the last element from the list, and it will remove the element it deleted also. So it as it deleted the 6, it is going to return that element. So 6 gets printed when we print the numbers dot pop actually. So pop will actually give out the whatever the element it deleted as well, and it deletes the last item. But we can also use pop for deleting a number at a particular index. Suppose if I want to delete 1, so I want to delete 1, so I'm going to give the index position of 1, and I'm going to use this pop method. Now if I print the numbers list, here you can see the change. Here you can see 1 has been deleted from the list. So numbers dot pop. So dot pop, if you don't give any kind of index value, default it takes out last element of the list. But if at all you give the index value, then that index value position element gets deleted. So I hope you got how to use this dot. And there is one more method called dot remove. So remove takes value, pop takes index. So dot pop function will take the index position of the value and it will delete that element, but remove takes the value itself to delete. Suppose if I want to delete 3, then what happens? You write dot remove 3. See here in the list that 3 gets removed. If I want to remove 4, then I will give 4. Then what happens? that gets removed. Suppose if I have two elements, what happens then? Let's see. One element gets removed, the first occurrence that gets removed. So we have now understood how dot remove works, dot pop works, dot append works, dot insert works, the and dot extend works. So these are the methods which we need to keep in mind, and there are some more methods like numbers dot count. Suppose if we want to count how many numbers of this element are present, suppose I want to count 4, how many times 4 is there in numbers. So it says, sorry, I need to print this here, because count method will actually count how many times the number we passed is present in the list, and it's going to return that value. So in order to print that value, we need to actually use this numbers dot count in the print function itself. Suppose if we write it outside of the print function, then we cannot get the value which it is returning. So if at all we want to store it, we can give it to a variable and we can store that. But if we are just doing outside the print function in a line, then there is no use of it. Either we are going to print the value which it returned, or we are going to store it in some variable. So numbers dot count is going to return some value. Either we are going to store it in some variable and then we are going to print that variable, or we are going to print it directly. Why we are not using for dot append those kind of things? Why? Because when we do numbers dot append and we write 7 and we print this, what happened? It's showing none, because append does not return anything. It will only change the list, it will only modify the list, and it will only add the element into the list, but it is not going to return something. But whereas if you see count method, what it is going to do, it will first analyze whatever the element you have passed, it will count how many times it is there, and then it will return that these many times it is there, it will say. And now to print that, we are going to use print function and we are going to print it. Here you can see 4 is there 2 times in the list. So in this way we can use this dot count method, and we can also use sort method. So what is this sort method? Suppose if I have this like this 6 5 4 3 2 1. Now if I say numbers dot sort, we should not print this, we should not use this in print function, because numbers dot sort will not return anything, it will just sort the list. If at all we are expecting a value from a method, then we are going to use that in print function, or we are going to store that value in a variable. But numbers dot sort will not return anything, it will just modify the list, it will just do some changes to the list. So we are not going to print that method. So now numbers dot sort has done some action to the list. Now we are going to print this numbers. So let's see. Here you can see the list is sorted. So in this way we are going to use dot sort method. So we also have dot reverse method. Here you can see the list has been reversed. So in this way, these are the main methods you have to keep in mind. And there is, I guess there are some more index. So if at all, if I say list, yeah. So if at all I say index numbers dot index of 5, if I say this, then what will happen? Now this index will, so what is this index method actually? Index method will actually return the index of the element which we are passing. So now we are expecting some value. So when we are expecting some value, we need to print that, right? Or we need to store it in the variable. Instead of storing it in the variable, what I am doing, I will write this in the print function itself. So I am directly printing the value whatever it returned. So if I say now index of 5, it will return 1. Why? Because 5 in element 5 is present at the first index. So it is this index method will return that index position and we are going to print it. So I hope you got it. When you are expecting a value, please print it or store it in a variable. When you are actually performing an action, there is no need to print it because it will not return anything, right? So I hope you got the difference and I hope you are understanding this. And yeah, removing elements, useful methods, Everything is done, and you can concatenate to list as well. Suppose if this is, if numbers are 1 2 3, and if you want to add some more elements to this, so then you can say numbers is equals to numbers plus 4 5 6. What it's going to do? Will it print? No, it will not. Why? We did not use any print function. So print numbers. Now let's see what it will happen. Here you can see the 4 5 6 are added to the list. So this process is called as concatenation. So concatenation can be done using lists, and repetition can be done. Here you can see this example. If we multiply this, then the same list is gonna repeat for that many times. And this traversal looping I will explain when I explain the loops concept. The loops concept and conditional statements I will explain after completion of the dictionaries, sets and tuples. I will start explaining conditional statements, decision control flow statements as well. So those decision control flow statements, but now I'll explain all the data types which are required, and then I will start explaining them. So I hope you got this. I hope you got what are list. This is the most important concept, and some more useful functions are there. And now, till now you have learned length function, you have learned type function, you have learned print function, you have learned input function. Now we are going to learn some more functions which can be applied on lists. Suppose if I say numbers is equals to 1 2 3, and now what I am going to do, I am going to say print, sorry, I am going to say print, yeah, print max of numbers. So what is going to happen? It will print the maximum element which is present in the list. In the list there is 1 2 3, and in the three elements, what is the maximum element? The last element is the maximum element. So max of numbers will return the maximum element which is present in the list. So I hope you got how to use the max function. So same as max, there is one more function called min. So what is this min function does? This min function will return the minimum element present in the list. Suppose if I say 1 2 3 0 here, now what it will return? It will return out 0, because 0 is the minimum element present in the list. And now I hope you got to how to use minimum and maximum, and exactly like them you have one more function called sum. What will sum do? Sum will add these all elements which are present in the list and return that value, and when we are expecting some value we will print it. And same thing is we do here. So print sum of numbers, that is adding them, that is 3 plus 2 is 5 and 5 plus 1 is 6. So I hope you got this, how to use sum function and how to use max function, minimum function, and I hope you got this. So now I think this is enough for understanding lists. I will give you some problems to practice. So I this is the practice problem for today. So I am going to say take a list, take a list of 5 students and their marks, 5 students marks, and now of these students take the average. So you can use the sum function and all of them, and you can use the length function as well. So you need to take the average of the 5 students marks. So this is the practice problem, and I hope there are some more problems in this image. And yeah, so sorry, there are no problems in this. So yeah, yeah, you try this problem, and I will try to give some more problems. I will try to explain working on list as well in the upcoming videos if possible. Yeah, I will definitely explain practice problems on the concepts which we have learned. And yeah, for now, yeah, you can do this problem, and you can also do this as well. Practice all the methods, like whatever you learned, append, extend, insert, pop, uh, so many methods I've taught that please revise them and practice them all. So yeah, that's all for today, and I hope you have liked this, and I hope you understood everything which I've explained in this video. And if at all there are any changes I need to make, please comment, and I will definitely try to change them, and I will definitely try to improve myself to teach you all. And yeah, thank you.